Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Pemberton, the 3,000 officers in your union, is that correct?
Yes, Senator, that's correct.
Were you involved at all in January 6th, the insurrection that took place in the Capitol?
I was not there that day. I was at work that day monitoring the situation, but no, I was not present.
Did you get a chance to either talk to any of your officers who were here or to see any videos where your officers were assaulted?
Of course, yeah, dozens of our officers were injured, and we've spoken with all of them, yes.
Do you characterize their experience as a peaceful protest?
No, there was definitely a riot that day, yes, sir, and officers were injured.
So what was your reaction when President Donald Trump gave a full and unconditional pardon to 1,500 individuals who had been prosecuted for violence against police officers?
Well, it's frustrating to see that, but what I point to is since that day, since January 7th, 2021 through today, we've had 1,537 officers injured where someone has assaulted a police officer, and 95% of those cases have been no-papered by the U.S. Attorney's Office. So, yes, it's frustrating to have officers who are assaulted, but the vast majority of those people that assaulted officers that day were arrested and charged, and many of them convicted.
I'm asking about the full and unconditional pardon by the president. Your reaction to that?
My reaction is that it's more frustrating to have suspects who assault police officers who are arrested by cops and have that case no-papered by a U.S. Attorney's Office than it is to have people who are convicted of crimes and spend years in jail and later be pardoned.
I guess I don't follow you. You're saying that since there were assaults aside from January 6th that were not prosecuted, you felt more strongly about that than the pardon of the president of 1,500 people who violently assaulted police officers?
What I'm saying, Senator, is more than 1,500 officers have been assaulted by people since that day, and nothing has happened to those suspects.
Would you put them in at least the same level of outrage, assaults on your officers, whether in the Capitol January 6th or afterwards?
I don't think anybody should ever be assaulting officers, and if they do, they should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
And should they be full and unconditionally pardoned?
My frustration, Senator, is that no one seems to care about police officers who were assaulted after that day or before that day. It seems like people only care about police officers who were assaulted on that day in the calendar. Police officers are assaulted all the time, and no one seems to care about it, and that's our frustration.
Well, I'm certainly not in that category, and I don't think most people are, but let me tell you something else. I spent a better part of my life in this building and the U.S. Capitol building, and I think you feel as I do. It is a cathedral to democracy and should be respected. And the people that broke down the windows, came in and beat up on your police officers are despicable. And to give them a full and unconditional pardon to me and call them peaceful protesters is not conducive to saying that you're sympathetic to the police and their mission. I just happen to feel that way. Mr. Jackson, you worked on a lot of projects involving state and local government as well, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
What was your experience in the previous administration?
Well, we knew that our local communities needed support. Whether we sat down with leaders in Memphis or Birmingham or Phoenix or Atlanta, the biggest request was how do we keep more guns from getting into our streets? And that's where we specifically focused on how do we invest more into ATF, both through appropriations and through White House support, so that they could have more crime gun intelligence to solve violence before it happens, to close homicides, but most importantly, to keep guns from coming into their communities. When we look at what's happening in our country, the cities that are most dangerous are those blue cities that are in red states where they don't have the regulations. Places like Tennessee where there's no concealed carry permit, there's no background check, there's no extreme risk law, there's no shoot first law, there's no secure storage law. So guns are flowing in and out of these communities that are already vulnerable to violence. And so working with state and local leaders, that's what we focused on at the federal government, is keeping guns out of communities that are most vulnerable.
And what has happened to the funding of ATF under this administration?
It's been slashed tremendously. We've seen 2/3 of even the inspectors that inspect gun stores being cut. And we know that the only entity we have that can keep guns out of our communities right now is the ATF, and it's directly under attack by this administration and frankly by the really harmful bills and budgets being proposed.
So in Chicago, we have a problem with guns coming in from neighboring states, which don't do background checks at gun shows and things of that nature. Was that a problem you ran into?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, even in Chicago, we've seen illegal crime guns show up. In the last 10 years, those numbers have doubled. And when you look at the sources, The number of them that come from Indiana have tripled. The number from Missouri have doubled. And so what's happening is that these illegal black markets that are flowing guns into major cities like Chicago are getting more fierce. And frankly, more folks are profiting off of the deaths in our cities.
And if we slow the rate of these illegal firearms coming into this,
Gentleman's time has expired.